Welcome to The Profitable Cleaner, a podcast on commercial cleaning sales and entrepreneurship.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Profitable Cleaner podcast. I'm with my guy, my boy, Mr. Nate Engels. What's up, bro? How you doing today?
James Harper, what's up, man? How are you, bub?
Good, man. There's people in this life that are energy givers and energy takers. You are 100% an energy giver. Where does that come from?
Dude, my mom used to say that I would be happy watching the grass grow. And that's true. I'm happy with the more simple things in life. But I don't know where it comes from, man. It comes from caffeine and gasoline, baby.
Caffeine and gasoline. I love it, man. So I wanted to have you on our show today because we believe as leaders of organizations, leaders of businesses, that it's really important to have a few key things. One, I think energy is important. I believe energy transfers. I believe mindset and continual learning is important. And number three, just longevity and health. And we're going to learn more about your story in just a minute, but you really embody all three of those things. So for those that don't know you in 2 minutes or less, why don't you kind of give us the background of who you are and what you're about?
All right, man. Well, a lot of people here in Wichita call me Coach Nate. I have a master's degree in gerontology and public health sciences from Wichita State. My bachelor's is in exercise science. I am a medical and orthopedic exercise specialist, a functional aging specialist, and a biomechanical corrective exercise specialist. I'm also a nationally credentialed health coach with the Board of Health and Wellness Coaching, and I own a company called Wellness League, LLC. We are a small, by appointment only, specialized private fitness facility, really focusing on beginners exercise and like what we call private fitness. So inside our big studio, we have separate studios where it's just you and your coach in a room together, kicking butt and taking names with your customized fitness program that is vision and goal driven from you. And then obviously results driven on our end with our assessments and whatnot. So, fitness has been my life for so long. But recently, after taking this really big leadership course and kind of reevaluating who I am now that I'm a dad in my 40s, I found that I'm having people now run my company for me, people who have a lot more passion about that style with the gym, with running businesses. And, now I'm going into marketing. And I wrote a book. My book is going to be published in December with Beat Publishing out of Springfield, Missouri. And I started a small YouTube show with my son. He likes scary stories. I like scary stories. So it's called Spooky Bro 316. And I was recently invited to my first Paracon, which is a paranormal convention or paranormal Comic-Con in Kearney, Nebraska, I believe, in September. So, man, things are happening for me. But really, I've just really tried to elevate myself and elevate the people that I associate with. And like you said, energy transfers, man. And when you put yourself, when I am just always constantly giving to others, but you find people who want to give back, they don't just want to take, man, good things happen when positivity becomes the focus, a vision lifestyle becomes the focus, and then being able to say, hey, if this does not align with the vision that I have for myself, for my family, for my legacy, then the hell with it. I don't want any part of it. And since I've really put my foot down with that, we were just talking off camera about I'm president of my BNI group and how I don't want to do that anymore, even though the chapter wants me to do that. It no longer aligns with the vision of my life. So, man, when you start living like that, good things happen and good things happen fast. And even though it's not all just peaks, man, there are valleys. You tend to hit the valleys a little smoother and they're not as deep when you have that positive mindset.
Man, I love that. And this is exactly why I wanted to have you on the show. So for those of you listening, some of you guys have attended our events in the past. And if you haven't, you've probably heard us talk about the importance of how we believe mindset, belief system, alignment, and ultimately, literally, your physical health plays key factors into growing your business. We believe your business will never outgrow you, who you are as an individual. Where does your sense of certainty come from, man? You as an individual, yeah, your mom says you'd be happy watching the grass grow, but there has to be some sort of certainty and self-development along the way. So take me back. Maybe it was before running businesses, maybe it was after you kind of hit those valleys in business. Where does that sense of like self and like who you are today, how was that built?
What's up, Profitable Cleaner listeners? Quick question for you. Are you using 5 to 7 different platforms just to manage the everyday operations of your commercial cleaning company? If so, let us help you consolidate that into one platform. Introducing you uSource. Go to usource.com, book your free demo today, and actually get started on your trial for 60 days. No charge for 60 days, all from time and attendance to reporting, vendor management, operations, sales. It's time you stop using 5 to 7 platforms and consolidate into one. So listeners, don't forget, go to usource.com and start your account today.
Well, man, I think growing up, and not to go too psychological here, but growing up in a household where, my dad, he's a wonderful man, but he raised my brother and I hard in the sense that he never wanted anyone to think that he showed us favoritism. He was the oldest of 12 in a Catholic family. He used to work for the IRS. He was a very intelligent CPA. He rode us hard with baseball. I was an all-city baseball player, but when it was playing out summer baseball, let's go back to when we're little leaguers, when the kids that didn't play a lot needed to play, I was always the one that sat. And my dad did that as one of the coaches because he never wanted anyone to think that he was playing favorites or that he valued us over anybody else. And we got grounded if we didn't get straight A's. So we took that mindset. My brother is one of the top professors in the country in communications. He's been at Penn State. He's a tenured professor. This is not a good thing, but this is just how we're wired. When you get into the mindset that nothing you do is ever going to be good enough, but you keep striving for it, that puts you into a weird, super type A type personality. And that has been the driver for so much of who I am. And it's taken some therapy to kind of slow me down a little bit and focus on working my butt off, doing everything to try to receive accolades, to impress myself, to more on, hey, what is the vision that I have for my life? And being able to say no to certain things, creating boundaries. But also, man, I'm never really someone who wants to do things that I don't enjoy doing. So the more that if I'm fascinated with something, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it hard to see if I really want to do it anymore. For example, with the paranormal investigating, when I decided I wanted to do paranormal investigations, I made the contacts. I attended whatever I needed to attend to be accepted into that circle. I got invited to do some really big ghost investigations with a group. Found out that I absolutely hated it. I hated paranormal investigation. But I really wanted to try it. So I had to put in the work to make those connections, to be invited along those things. So I don't know, man. I don't know if I really answered your question or not, because that's a really challenging question to answer. Like, where's your drive come from? It could be something as simple as I want to make sure that my family is provided for, to something that's more complex, like I want to leave a legacy behind, but I also don't want to waste my time. So I'm really diving into things that are passionate for me that don't actually feel like work. And the things that do start to feel like work, I try to get those out of my life unless they're an absolute necessity.
You have you're a really good writer, and you are a really big creative, which I appreciate about you. And I actually think this isn't spoken about enough in business. I think a lot of business owners are actually creative type of people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once you're in business for so long, we tend to get away from channeling that creativity
Yeah.
because we get into execution mode, management, operations, all the minutia that comes with business. But I love how you always keep like your creative self uh, top of mind, and you're a really good writer. And I know for Wellness League, your health and wellness business, you wrote something a while back talking about why successful people often have a big investment in their health. And investment might not be monetary or financial, it could just be intention and focus. Talk to me about the people you've trained over the years that correlate like success with the investment that they have in their health.
Well, absolutely, man. So we tend to attract a little bit more of an older audience. So if you think of younger people, you think 20s and 30s, fitness for a lot of these younger people, they want to look good naked, man. They want to have that bang and beach body. They want to be recognized. They got like a chip on their shoulder. They want to be the biggest. They want to be the strongest. They want to be the best looking. They want that attention. Well, we tend to attract people that understand they've kind of moved out of that in life. Not we all want to look good. That's not what I'm saying, but they understand that in order for them to live the high quality life that they want, they need their health, because once we start losing our health, what do we really actually have in life? So, and they're usually super successful people. They're not going to dedicate unnecessary time to things that they don't need to. So they hire someone like me. They're like, "Hey, we're going to pay you. We're going to do 2 to 3 hours a week in exercise. We want to get in. We need you, the coach, to give us exactly what we need to be healthy, to be strong, to be mobile, to have great cardiovascular efficiency so that we can live as long as we need to have the best quality of life as possible." So really it comes down to super successful people hire trainers because, one, they don't want to think about it. They've already got too much stuff that they're worried about. They just need a professional to take care of this part of their life for them because they know how important it is. Because, dude, where have we've lost caring about our health? Seriously, man. I mean, working with being a credentialed health coach and being able to do health coaching and bill Medicare for my services, I see a lot of sick people and their quality of life, man. Once you start having these chronic conditions stack on top of you and they start to accumulate, your quality of life goes down significantly. So if there is anything that we can do from a preventative standpoint to maybe mitigate that, to keep that quality of life high, you're going to live longer and at a higher quality, which means that you're going to be more productive, not just for the economy, but you're going to be a better husband, a better wife, a better mom or dad, a better son, a better daughter, so on and so forth. Fitness and our health is the key to everything in life, because if we're not sleeping well and we're not as sharp cognitively, that's going to affect who we are in a day-to-day life. If we're a new mom or a new dad and we're not conditioned to run after our kids, what happens if they're running towards the stairs and we can't get our butts up to run after them? Things could happen. So really at Wellness League, one of our sayings is we train to live. And that's the main thing. Sure, we all want to look good, but we need to be strong. We need to be mobile. We need to practice our balance so we're not walking with canes when we're in our 50s. And we need to make sure that our cardiovascular health is good. So if I decide I want to grill outside, I can have the cardiovascular endurance to push the grill out, stand up long enough without having to sit down to grill, and so on and so forth. My mom was in such bad health towards the last 20 years of her life. I was dating a girl at the time when I lived in Nashville, Tennessee. And my mom and my dad met us in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And that's kind of the Ripley's, believe it or not. It's in the Smoky Mountains just outside of Knoxville. It's a very touristy area, but my mom could only walk a certain amount of feet before she had to stop and rest. So at one point, she just said, okay, you guys go on and have a good time. I'm just going to sit here on the bench. And we did. But who wants to live that way? You know what I mean? So we put that effort in now so we can live our life to the best of our desires.
What's up, my profitable leaders? I know you're listening to this show because you want to stay informed and on top of your game. And I want to bring you something that is often overlooked, and that's how we mitigate risk and actually protect our business, whether that's with misclassification of our employees, contract litigation, immigration law, because we have people that work for us that are from other countries that maybe or maybe aren't misclassified. That's why we partnered with Campos Law. Campos Law is a humanized law firm, as I would put them. They are more than just expert attorneys. They're people looking to help people and business owners just like you. So when it comes to your contract setup, when it comes to your classification of your employees, when it comes to just protecting your business as a true asset, which it is why you should be talking with Campos Law. So for more information, click the link in these show notes and get a partner like Campos Law on your side.
Man, that's so well said. There's so much to unpack there, and I want to unpack it. So at our very first ever event, this is 3 years ago now, we had people stand up and say, basically, we called it the hot seat. We put them each on the hot seat, and we ripped apart one thing in their life that they just were suppressing either in their business or their life, and they got feedback from the crowd. It's a very vulnerable position. Mm-hmm. Majority of people put their health front and center. You know, I thought people were going to talk about like, the profit and that they're not making on certain deals within their business, et cetera, et cetera. People put their health at the forefront because they got vulnerable. Well, we saw a year later from a lot of the returning attendees, one guy lost 75 pounds. And it was just like that accountability factor of him putting himself out there. And at our second event, he was like dancing around. He looked like a different man, right? And his kids who were with him were like, yo, we have a different dad. It's his adult children, right?
Yeah.
But we have a different dad. And you should see how he shows up with our staff. They have, they manage 200 people. It's amazing what things can do. Talk to me about health factors that impact your health negatively outside of just like not moving your body and eating like shit. Like, for example, you just mentioned sleep. Give me a few other things that maybe business owners should be aware of.
Stress.
All right, talk to me about that.
Stress is the number one killer of everything. It will F with your sleeping habits. It will F with your eating habits. It will F with your movement patterns. You'll think you're hungry when you're not. You won't want to do anything except sleep. It will mess with your mental health. And the problem is that us business owners and us go-getters, we're usually fueled by stress. So, I mean, that is something that I feel like we are all fighting that battle. And one of the absolute best things we can do, it's nature's natural antidepressant and de-stressor, is just simple cardiovascular exercise. Going outside and going for a walk, reconnecting with nature. As us being from the earth, we connect with that. We get the sun, we get that vitamin D, just having the wind blow into our face, trying to reestablish our mental boundaries and letting work go. That stress is the killer, man. And you can't lose weight either if you are chronically stressed. It's impossible. It's just going to mess with your leptin and your ghrelin hormones. They're all going to be out of whack. So you're going to be eating, and then you will convince yourself that you need to eat in order to feel better. And then eating becomes a coping mechanism for the stress. And Oh man, that is the one thing I would say. Stress is now the new smoking. Obviously, within the medical world, smoking is still the absolute worst thing you could do. Just quitting smoking will give you the best opportunity to live the longest life possible. But I would follow stress up with that. De-stressing, and then all of us business owners, I mean, like what we were talking about before with this new move that we're going through with my company. We just moved, and I drained the bank account with this move, and it's like, holy crap, now we all gotta show up now to get the funds back up so we can keep on going. But that's stressful. And for people who have a 9 to 5, they're not on the ground floor like that, worried about, are we going to be able to continue on and stuff like that. And as business owners, that's just the medicine that we take. But dedicating time to de-stress, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's getting to the gym and lifting weights, also a very good de-stressor. Movement tends to be what this world intended for us to do when we are highly stressed.
Well said, man. Tony Robbins once says, if you want to change your mindset, change your physical state.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, it's that simple.
Yeah.
And it was about 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I was about 40 pounds overweight. And second kid, my business was actually growing more than it had ever grown. And I was making a lot of money, but I was really in turmoil when I walked in the doors of my house. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, why is that? I'm the same person. I'm not doing BS outside of like what I typically do. Like, why am I off? And it came down to I was 40 pounds overweight, right? And I'm a former athlete. I take pride in being able to move well and all of that. So it took me a year, but I got back into shape. I lost 45 pounds, and ironically enough, my business actually started changing, not growing, and actually came up on some really hard times. Man, I am so freaking grateful that my health was in check when my business came upon hard times, because guess what? When I showed up as a father, as a husband, it wasn't turmoil anymore. Mm-hmm. And my business was turmoil, but my household was in turmoil. So how was I able to manage? It's because my health was in check. And then about a year ago, my health is way better. I have this consistent, I'm very disciplined with my routine. I take a lot of pride in it. But a year ago, going back to what you said about nature and just reconnecting, I heard this quote that said, going on a walk won't solve all your life problems, but it damn sure will not make anything in your life worse.
Yeah.
And so I started taking these long walks, and I felt this organic need to literally grab like a leaf off of a tree and just like rub this leaf while I'm walking. Well, I started doing something but it was like this like genetic like pull that I had to do this. Well, it was called grounding. That's what I learned. It's called grounding. Like you're literally grounding yourself with the earth. And for people and business owners that are out in the field all day or working in an office and behind a screen, we're always so connected. We as humans have lost our sense of grounding. Yep. As woo-woo and as strange as this may sound, as soon as I started doing that, what happened? Dude, my sleep got better. My stress levels were easily more managed. And I just started noticing the connectivity amongst things. Question for you, man. You're so passionate about people. What originally started you on this health journey? Why Wellness League?
All right. I know you guys are wondering, how can we keep our cleaning crews engaged and informed and it doesn't have to feel like a struggle? With Team Engine, you can now automate messages, update teams in real time, and bridge language gaps with their built-in AI-powered translations. Whether it's scheduling, last-minute changes, or sharing critical updates, Team Engine keeps your workforce connected and productive. Say goodbye to miscommunication and hello to smoother operations. Visit teamengine.io to get started today.
So when I used to play music professionally, And when those opportunities dried up, and I moved back from Washington, D.C., or a hub of Washington, D.C., moved back to Wichita, Kansas. I was sitting around. I was kind of going through a little bit of a depression because I always thought I was going to be this rock star, and man, we played hard, and we toured, and we did a lot of cool things. We played the Bonnaroo Music Festival. Bruce Springsteen was the headliner. We played South by Southwest. We had our CD you could buy at Best Buy, Walmart, Target. But there was a conflict within the band between the singer and the guitar player. Everything fell apart. So that was everything I'd focused on for so long, was being this famous musician. Now I didn't have that. So I moved back home, and I'm sitting around with some of my friends, and we're at the parents' house of one of my buddies and his little brother. So I think I was 27 at the time. So his little brother played baseball at Wichita State University, which is we're not so good anymore, but man, there was a time when we were the rock stars of college baseball. This is a big deal to play baseball at Wichita State. Well, he played baseball there, and they housed baseball players who didn't live at the dorms. They could live off campus. So there were a couple baseball players that lived here, and we were all partying one night. We were drinking way too much, and my friends started talking crap to the baseball players, saying like, man, back in Nate's day, he would just, dominate all you guys. I mean, one of these guys here is an freaking All-American, and my buddies are like, Nate would crush all of you at baseball. Dude, I hadn't thrown a baseball in about 10 years at this time. So they're like, okay, Grandpa, we're going to go out tomorrow. We're going to go out into the field out back and throw the ball around. I don't know what I was doing, man, but my arm hurt for about a year after that. But I went out, and, man, I just rocked it enough to where the guys were like, dude, you need to grow some balls and come out for the team, old man. So that was in like February or March, because they were playing at the time. So I got back into playing shape, and I needed to enroll in school. I was like, well, I've already gone to 2 years of college. I might as well just get a degree. I want to play baseball at Wichita State. So I enrolled at Wichita State. When I first went there, I was on a full academic scholarship, and I dropped out to play music. So I don't even know if they even wanted me back at Wichita State, but I met with an advisor, and I wanted to go into dietetics. I wanted to master nutrition. I was super fascinated with it, but Wichita State doesn't have that program, but they do have an exercise science program. So the advisor said, hey, I know this isn't, dietary studies, but why don't you, sit in on a couple of these classes and see if you like it? And dude, I fell in love with it completely. Performance of athletes, performance of people, and, watching my mom's health deteriorate over the years, and, her doing nothing about it. I fell in love with what exercise can do for people as a healing necessity, what it can be for people as a healing, not necessity, as a healing modality, how exercise can heal people. And I just couldn't get enough of it. And, I was trying out for the baseball team, and man, I was having a really good tryout until I wasn't eligible. And that sucked, because I would have made that damn team too. And I still talk to a couple of the guys on the team. I got to play in the scrimmages, and I made a lot of good friends on the baseball team that year. But fell in love with exercise, fell in love with the potential of exercise, and then what it could do to myself. I'm a short guy. I'm a stocky guy. I'm naturally strong, but I'm not very athletic. So I learned powerlifting, and because I'm not a very big guy, I don't have to move the weights very far. So I excelled at powerlifting, and I was a powerlifter until I hurt my back. But once I hurt my back, it went from being this heavy lifter guy to, how do I make sure that I never do it again? And two, how do I make sure that other people don't ever do that again? And then once I got my master's in gerontology, it all became, how do I help people to stay independent as long as possible to keep them out of nursing homes. And then once I had my kids, it was okay, how do I help parents or new grandparents stay active so they can be a really present parent or grandparent for their kids? So yeah, man, it all started with a drunken night with some baseball guys.
Man, a lot can be accomplished with drinks and a baseball glove, man.
No joke, man.
That's the freaking American dream right there.
American dream. And dude,
Yeah.
at 28, because I was 27, I just turned 28
It's incredible.
in September. I was going out for the team, and like I said, I wasn't eligible, and it took them a little bit to catch that I wasn't eligible. And Division I is serious about that. So how that eligibility works is you have 6 years of eligibility, 4 years of consecutive eligibility, and then you have a medical red shirt and then just a general red shirt. So you have 6 years of eligibility, but at the Division I level, it has to be consecutive. Division II, it's not that way. Division III or NAIA, it's not that way. So I went to that 1 year at Wichita State out of high school in 2002, and then dropped out my second year. So my eligibility started, damn it, in 2002. So my eligibility ran out in 2008. And this was 2012, I believe, is when it was, 2011 or 2012. And it took them a couple weeks to catch that. And I didn't know any better. And it was funny because word got out that this guy would have made the Wichita State team was available. So I started hearing from local universities and small private colleges. And they're like, dude, come on. And I'm like, I've already enrolled. I'm already going to school. I'm not going to, yeah. So my baseball playing days were over at that point. But damn it, I got back into shape and I kept up with those college guys, those young all-American dudes. I kept up with them for a while.
I love it, man. There's something to be said about being a dreamer, but that takes action.
It takes action, man.
Right? Like I was actually just thinking before earlier today, ironically enough, I can't even believe I'm going to say this out loud. So I'm 36 now, right? And I read a question online, like, what's something that you believe that others would think was absolutely crazy, right? Like about yourself. And it's like, dude, I believe I could have been a professional soccer player if I took it seriously. Like, I know that for a fact. And then I had the thought, like, do I think I could play with like some elite level talent now at 36? And it's like, I never went to college. Maybe I'm still eligible. Maybe I'll go try after a year and year.
What's up, my profitable cleaners? Listen, you guys know that running a cleaning business isn't just about cleaning. It's about growth, trust, building a legacy, and making true impact. That's where Swept comes in. With Swept, it's simple, powerful. It's an app that you can track your cleaner attendance with geofence clock-ins, streamlined processes, team communication, and save hours on payroll. It's the ultimate tool designed specifically for janitorial businesses just like yours. Take control, save time, focus on what matters most, growing your business and spending time with your family. Swept. Clean better, grow faster. If you guys are interested in Swept, click the link below in the show notes and partner with one of the best in the industry.
Hearing your story, man, but I think that there's something about being a dreamer, because everyone listening to this had a dream about starting a business at some time and they took action. My last question for you, man, before we wrap up here, we were just talking about the struggles of running a business. It doesn't matter if you're a janitorial company, if you're a health and wellness company, a marketing company. How do you manage now your stress when it comes to payroll, the move? You empty out your funds to move. Everyone listening right now can relate to that. How does Nate, the health coach, manage that stress as an entrepreneur?
I don't know if I'm even doing that good of a job right now of managing it, because at first, once, and I think everybody can relate with this, when you see obstacles in front of you, or now that we've moved, these are obstacles behind us, and everything starts hitting, all these bills start coming in, and you're off to a record year, you're doing great, but then this happens, and all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, we were on this trajectory to this could literally close us down if I do something stupid here. So I don't know that I would say managing the stress. If I'm no better than anybody else at that. I will say I talked to my wife. She is a very big support system for me. My wife is. I talk to other small business owners, because we all are going through things. We've all been there. Like I talk to you, and you're like, bro, I've been there. I've been there. And there is something strong about a belief in yourself. I know at the end of the day, we're going to make it through it. We're going to make it through this problem because I will outwork it. I will, whatever I have to do, I will figure it out. And business owners, aren't we kind of chameleons and we're adaptable? Like we figure it out. Now, the problem is that I had worked so hard. My business guru, leadership coach, he has this thing called the adversity nexus. He says that most people stay in a safety stagnation zone, a comfortability zone. They get comfortable and then they don't want to be bold to grow. They want to stay in this safety stagnation, and then maybe they'll dip a toe into being bold, and then they'll go right back. It took me years of when times got tough, I went back to coaching. I went back to that safety zone, even though it wasn't where my passion was. I went right back to saying, okay, Nate, put it on. I need to get back to doing 50 sessions a week. If you stay in safety and stagnation, it will lead to burnout. And that, after years and years of floating back in this zone, now coaching, it's not my passion anymore. I got burned out. Now I find people who want to do that, and I bring them into this world because now my passion is the marketing side. It's the storytelling, what you were talking about, the writing, telling the story of the business. So now I know that, hey, we need some more clients. So it's my time to do this new passion that I have, to give it everything I got, to get the people back in the door. I'm going to rely on my general manager to make sure that he gets all the payment in. I'm going to rely on my new coaches to make sure that they are still operating at a high level and giving the absolute highest quality product that we can give. And then it is my job to get off my butt and make sure that people are coming in through the door. And it's like you said, we're going to attack it from a digital standpoint. I'm going to start cold calling. Coach Nate, I've won a ton of awards in Wichita. I am making phone calls. And I told you today, I did a cold call with a woman who told me to lose her number. And there's that ego that's like, do you even know who you're talking to? Oh man, I want to do that. I want to be like, do you even know who I am? Isn't that stupid to think like that we've accomplished something that we deserve some sort of recognition? But that's very humble for me, man. I've experienced success, and now I'm back to cleaning toilets and calling people and having them tell me to F off and get a real job and stuff like that. And it's like, man, we've come full circle. But this is now what I'm passionate about. So I don't think there's a better person that can be in the position we're in right now, because my passion is telling this story and getting people in, and I will figure that out. If we had to go back to where I was going to have to coach again, that would be when I would consider like, well, maybe this business really isn't what I need to be doing anymore, because I can't seem to figure out how to not burn myself out. But that's not where we're at right now. I have an amazing team, and they're going to do their jobs. I'm going to do my job, and we're going to figure this out.
Let's go, man. You're firing me up, dude.
Dude, I am, man. I'm pumped up.
Oh, yeah. Never be good. Never be too good to do the work. Dude, I'll still pick up the phone for my business and call a property manager and be like, hey, you need a virtual assistant? Let's go. Right. I just set up a Facebook ad campaign right before this podcast I was telling you about. I'm like, let's get leads through the door. Like, let's go. And it's like, yeah, never. And there's something humbling though about going back to the roots.
Yeah.
There is something to be grateful for about going back to the roots and being like, I'm going to enjoy this time. I'm not paying myself, as shitty as it is in this moment, because a year from now, I'm going to look back and be like, that problem was cute.
Mhm.
You know, like, and it just is, man. It is, man. I love how tenacious you are. Go out there and win. If you're listening to this right now, I'm just going to go ahead and drop this. I never do this on the show. If you guys need a marketer that can absolutely blow up your brand and social media, contact Nate. I'm going to put his contact info in the show notes. So hit that link below, but seriously contact Nate. You need to charge more from a marketing perspective than you do, but hey, for you guys listening, take advantage of Nate's expertise, man. He's one hell of a marketer and so much to offer as an entrepreneur, man. A lot of marketing people don't sit in the entrepreneurial seat. So like you kind of have a unique perspective. Dude, thank you so much, brother. We're also going to link up Wellness League. So if you're in Wichita, Kansas, you guys better give Coach Nate a call.
Get in, baby. Get in, get right.
Love it, man. Thank you so much for your time today, brother.
Yeah, thanks, James.